This video is brought to you by Zarrakan Productions, an umbrella group composed of over 10 shows and an archive of over 5,000 videos covering a wide variety of topics. Please go to Zarrakan.com for a complete listing of video links, social media feeds, and opportunities to support our content. Thank you for your time, and may I present another Zarrakan production.
Hello everyone, welcome to the ZOC, and today we're going to do the 13 Reasons Why He Had to Die hunt by MadPea. Discover the 13 reasons why he had to die, plus retro audio mute for music lovers. Starting June 18th at the new men's event Man Cave, you can dive into maddening mystery with our new gotcha set 13 Reasons Why He Had to Die. Collect all the tapes in a tape player and get ready for a scintillating, sometimes shocking story. And if you're brave enough to discover why he had to die, there's a special prize and achievement awaiting you at the end. And here's our ad print, 13 Reasons Why He Had to Die. And you have 13 tapes to collect, 1 through 13, they're numbered. And then you have the rare items, the cassette players themselves, black, red, and silver. A maddening mystery game. Collect all the tapes and the cassette player to unravel the reasons why he had to die. Special prize and achievement at the end. Here we are in a house in Arendelle where we're going to do the 13 Reasons Why He Had to Die hunt. And on the table is the box it comes in. MadPea design. 13 Reasons Why He Had to Die. Both the tape players and the cassettes come in the same kind of box. Kind of a basic packaging, but still shows some effort in it. So, once you're done with the hunt, you may even want to keep the box and use it as a prop for other things. So let's get this thing unpacked and see what these things look like. Okay, so this is how the game works. They have 13 commons and 3 rare in this set. A maddening mystery game. Collect all the tapes in a cassette player to unravel the reasons why he had to die. Special prize and achievement at the end. The rares are, of course, the black portable cassette player, red portable cassette player, silver portable cassette player, and 13 commons, which go from 1 through 13. And are 1, the confession to spell on me, 3, his possession, 4, mirror mirror on the wall, 5, positive, 6, all fall down, 7, prison inside, 8, the escape, 9, plotting, 10, second failed attempt, 11, face off, 12, out of this world, 13, point of no return. Instructions: in order to play the game, you will need one of the rare cassette players, one of these, and all 13 tapes. Each tape comes soft-linked inside a cassette case with a piece of paper. Begin by resting the cassette tape and clicking it to open. Take the tape and paper into your inventory one by one. Add the cassette player and the tape you'd like to listen to your avatar. When the tape is in your hand, click it to hear and read the story. When you're done with the tape, detach it and add another, and repeat the process until you have heard the full story with all 13 tapes. Then, rest the piece of paper, and you'll be asked whether or not you are sure you wish to use it. By agreeing, the paper will become part of the game HUD. Pick the paper up and add it to your avatar to see the HUD start to take shape. Repeat this process for each piece of paper you have until you have all 13. You will then have a complete HUD and may proceed with the game. Alright, so here's the 3 rare cassette players. Come in black, red, and silver. Get a closer look at these. MadPea sound systems. I actually remember having cassette players that looked exactly like this at one time. These were considered to be fairly high-tech items. Now, not so much. We went from cassette players to CD players, and then to MP3 players. But yes, there was a time, not too long ago, at least to my recollection, where cassette players were the norm. And if you wanted portable music, this was your only option. So they're fairly well defined. Pretty representative of what cassette players back in the day are. You can still find cassette players. It's kind of I don't know if you would call it a niche item or not, but you can still find them. And tapes, if you want to. Probably go on eBay and buy out somebody's tape collection for next to nothing. So, and they have tape converters too, so if you're willing to put up with the process of doing that, that could be a way of greatly expanding on your music collection, I suppose. So it's pretty cool. I like them. My preference, I don't know. I'm kind of liking the silver one, to be honest. I know that's not the most colorful of colors out of the three, but silver is the one that I remember having, so I'm going to be using the silver one for this hunt, simply because that's the kind of cassette player I used to have. Okay, I've done some experimentation with the game already, and I'm up to cassette 4, and I think it would be best for me to not commentate while the tapes are playing, because there is audio, and I would like to capture that audio for this recording, and that just works better with my microphone off. So how this works is you res out a tape, and yes, you do want to use the piece, so I'll be using the piece. I'll be taking that into my inventory here in a moment, but here's what the cassette tape holder looks like. Need to take this up first. So that's where that goes. That goes into your inventory. I'll be putting that on here in a second after I listen to the tape. As you can see, the cassette tape comes in its own little cassette tape case with a label on it for the tape you're listening to. This one is being labeled Mirror Mirror. So we can take that back into our inventory. Take and take. And there we go. Then I'm going to put my cassette tape player on. I'm going to turn chat on, then we're going to play the tape.
Yes, I killed him. I know it's the first thing you want to hear. People like to think for some reason I'm innocent, and because of that, my execution has been dragging on 20 years. I'm ready to die, and pay for my sins. I'm Anime Belmore, and I'm 40 years old. I met Benjamin Turner when I was 18, and I killed him 2 years later. Tomorrow, I shall die. Finally. But before that, you're going to hear all the reasons why he had to die. Ben was 5 years older than I and charmed me off of my feet the very first time I laid my eyes on him. I had a habit of telling anyone who asked about how we met that he had put a spell on me. It really wasn't far from the truth. It was late evening and I was walking home alone from the movies when I literally bumped into the most handsome guy I have ever seen. The milkshake he was sipping on exploded all over me and I got so angry at his clumsiness, and he apologized with a big smirk on his face and started to wipe my clothes down with his hand. I stared into his eyes and I felt something move inside of me. You know those moments when you know something bad is going to happen, but you're just not able to control yourself? This was indeed one of those. Ben walked me home, and from that moment, we were inseparable. I often wonder, had I stayed home that night, would I ever have met him?
Exactly a month after our first encounter, he asked me to marry him. Look, I was so head over heels in love with this man that I didn't even hesitate. My family and friends were in shock, asking me if I was sure, and yes, I was sure. Ben kept telling me that they didn't want me happy, but not to worry, he would always be there for me, and I believed him. He had saved me from a boring life, and I would do anything for him. He kept asking if I was his. All his. And I always said yes. He didn't want to celebrate Christmas for reasons he didn't tell me, and much to my family's annoyance, we decided to go on a little getaway, just the two of us. I wanted him to make love to me so badly, but he refused, saying that we needed to wait until our wedding night. I admired the gentleman I thought he was. On March 22nd, 1995, we got married, and it was the best and the worst day of my life. We exchanged our vows, and I received the most beautiful ring. I remember the intriguing symbols that were laid into it. Funnily enough, that thing would never come off of my finger, and I had to saw the whole finger off during my first days in prison to convince the law officers even more of my evil traits. Everyone was having fun, or at least pretending to. I could tell people didn't really like Ben, and it made me very protective of him. Suddenly, at 3 a.m., something bizarre happened. My father raised a toast for his little girl, and just as everyone was about to have a drink, Ben grinningly shouted that I was his now. The guests began to spit and cough everywhere, saying that the drink tasted horrible. I could swear I was tasting blood in it. My father went to complain, and the party continued till early morning, as if nothing had ever happened.
Finally, our wedding night. I was a virgin, which seemed to please my husband immensely. He was so gentle at first, making me beg him to be rougher. I whispered to him that I wouldn't break that easily. I bled a bit, which I suspect was quite normal, but what I didn't think was normal is that he licked it all, right off of me. That's something I never dared to tell anyone. He soon made me forget that as he took me straight to heaven with each thrust, making me shiver in a way I'd never felt before. As he was about to climax, he turned around to glimpse the large mirror in front of our hotel room bed, and I saw a horrible red face staring back. I closed my eyes, thinking that I was hallucinating, and when I opened them again, all was back to normal. Yet, somehow, something died inside of me at that exact moment. Naturally, as it goes in fairy tales, I got pregnant on my wedding night. I was so scared to tell my family, and we decided that we would wait until after the first trimester to tell them. Ben was so loving and caring, catering to my every need, and the little doubts that I had had were starting to fade away. Slowly. He would make a wonderful dad, and even though I was so young, we would manage. He said that I could always go back to school after the baby was in school too, and he would take care of us with his business. Our first ultrasound was amazing. We got to see the little bean, as we named him, and Ben was convinced it was a boy. He started to build an extra room in our little house for the nursery, and I was feeling confident that everything would be just fine. There are times in your life when something happens, and it makes you doubt all the little things you worried about before, and it's those little nagging feelings inside of your head trying to keep you safe. Yet you brush them off as nothing, and you blame yourself for feeling silly in the first place. The nursery was coming together. We had bought so much stuff, and I was 7 months pregnant. On that day, I realized that I had been alienated from my family and friends, little by little, and that I needed them now, more than ever before. Ben was at work, and I was cooking a nice dinner for us. Until suddenly I was hit with the most terrible back pain. The pregnancy had been smooth so far, and I thought maybe I was having some Braxton Hicks for doing too much in the house. I was about to go and lay down in my bed until suddenly my water broke. I was in labor and in so much pain I couldn't even move. I kept screaming, but we were so isolated there was no one nearby to hear my agony. I was vomiting all over as I had to start pushing the baby out. There was blood everywhere, and suddenly I felt that I really had to push hard. The baby shot out of me in such a force that it scared me. I knew instantly that something was wrong. He wasn't breathing. He was blue. He had a tail. I fainted. I woke up in the hospital, with Ben by my side. I was screaming, telling the staff to take him away from me. I was shouting that he's the devil himself and he needs to leave me alone. Not one person believed me. They all said I was suffering from a trauma, and it was natural for me to imagine, to see something that wasn't even there. That I had a loving husband who had been by my side the whole 3 days I had been in the hospital. I wanted my mother, my father, and my sister there. Ben said it wasn't a good idea. He said that I would see them when I felt better, but until then, I would have to rest. Don't worry, my darling. I'm always here for you. I knew I had to get out. Somehow. A week later, I got home with antidepressants and hormones to stop my breast from leaking milk. I was feeling drowsy constantly, but I heard my family was coming over, but I ended up taking a nap. I heard soft murmurs and discussions in the other room. She needs time to recover, I heard Ben saying. I drifted back to sleep. I suspect Ben was drugging me with something, since I don't remember taking any pills myself. I was sleeping and crying and eating and going to the toilet, and that's how my life went. I was constantly confused. I didn't know if it was day or night. The only time I saw Ben was when he was naked next to me trying to have sex with me. I kept screaming at him to go away and leave me alone. Who knows what he did to me when I was sleeping? One night, I woke up and I saw him outside chanting with a dark cloak on. At that point, I was sure I was not hallucinating anymore, but I knew no one would believe me. I had to get away. One day, after eating the lunch Ben had made me, I threw it all up and drank a lot of water. I knew that I needed my head to be clear, just in case he was drugging me. I packed my stuff in a suitcase and was about to leave, only to realize that the door was locked from the outside. What the hell was this? Was I a prisoner in my own home? I tried to call him, but the phone cord was cut off. I took a chair, and I threw it with all I had through the window, breaking it just enough for me to crawl through. The shards cut my clothes, and I was bleeding all over, and I didn't get far. Ben came home early. He carried me to the bath, cleaned and patched me up. He kept telling me I wasn't well and that he would take care of me. He would always take care of me. When I asked why he had locked the doors, he said it was for my own safety. I knew what I had to do. I had to pretend that everything was fine again, to win his trust. And so the pretty little housewife is starting to get back on her feet. Ben was delighted to see my recovery. It took all of my strength to keep pretending that I was madly in love with him and that I wanted him. I did everything he asked me to and more. It was slowly starting to work. He still kept the door locked, but I knew where he kept the key now. All I had to do was get it. When he was having a bath, I prepared a dinner for us. I poured a whole jar of rat poison in his food to at least knock him out, if not kill him. I was so desperate to do anything to get away from him. He ate his dinner with a great appetite, and he thanked me for the lovely meal. We sat on the couch, and we cuddled, and we watched TV together. I just kept waiting until finally he said that he was having a stomachache. I was prepared to grab the keys when he passed out, but he just farted, super loud, and laughed at it. Nothing even happened. If strong rat poison didn't even make him pass out, what was I dealing with? I kept playing my part as the loving housewife, even letting him do whatever he wanted under the sheets. I was telling him that I really needed to get out, see people, get some air, and he thought about it for a few days before finally agreeing. I asked to go to the supermarket, and I wanted to drive. He didn't think it was a good idea, but while he was locking the door, I sat in the driver's seat and I reversed the car into him with as much speed as I was able to get. He fell down, and I did it again, this time even harder. I was determined to kill that bastard. I saw from the mirror how he got up like nothing had even happened, and he flashed this evil smile at me. So I started to drive fast to get away from all that insanity, and I don't even know how it happened, but suddenly he was running faster than I had ever seen any human run to catch this car. He jumped in, and he calmly asked me to take us back home. I woke up in a strange bed, in a house I didn't recognize. Ben was sitting at the table, drinking coffee and wishing me a good morning. I was screaming on the inside. I knew there was nothing I could do to get away, but at least I could figure out what was going on. I sat opposite him and asked him, "Why me?" He grinned and replied that I was perfect, that I was his destiny. My next question was, "What are you?" He put his coffee cup down and stared into my eyes. What happened next is very difficult to describe, as it was something I've never seen in my life, in anything, dead or living. Ben's face started to shake, as if it was about to fall off. His facial features were all over the place, changing colors from reds to greens to his natural skin color. He was making a bizarre noise that sounded familiar. I remember hearing it at night. I was screaming. I was begging him to stop, and he did. He told me he wouldn't hurt me if I only did what he needed me to do. In a surprisingly calm tone, I asked, "What do you need from me?" "Our baby," was his reply, and he went back to his coffee. I had been put back into the drug state of confusion until one day I came out of it. Ben said it wasn't good for the baby and I would have to behave now. Apparently I was pregnant again and I didn't even feel it. I was touching my belly and I realized it had gotten quite big. I had no idea how long this had been happening. I asked to go to the doctor, but Ben refused. He said we could handle it together at this strange new place we were living. He called it home. He was busy starting to work on the nursery and told me that he would have to go and buy some supplies. He reminded me not to do anything stupid in the meanwhile if I wanted to live. Little did he know that I wanted out so badly, I would be willing to die for it. When he left, I took a wire coat hanger and went to the bathtub with it. I pushed it inside, and it hurt so much. I had to kill whatever I had growing inside of me at any cost. I pushed the wire in again and again until I was bleeding heavily. After several hours, I was exhausted. I was so exhausted, but I felt the urge to push, and this bloody, slimy blob came out of me. I passed out. And when I came to, Ben was there. He was eating our baby, or whatever that creature was, but when he realized that I was awake, he got angry, and he started to scream at me for what I had done. He was losing his patience, and I would need to be punished immediately. Ben started dragging me around by my hair all over the house, screaming at me in a language I didn't even recognize. His eyes were glowing yellow with anger, and I was too tired to care anymore. I begged him to just kill me, but he said he wouldn't. We would have our offspring, no matter what. To this date, I'm still not sure what truly happened next. Either I got some strength from some unknown source, or Ben had a moment of weakness, but the next events happened so fast that it felt completely surreal. I grabbed hold of a sledgehammer that Ben had been using to tear down a wall to make the nursery, and I hit him. Hard. I hit him with all I had, over and over and over until he finally collapsed. I didn't stop hitting him. I needed to make sure that he was dead. I dragged his body to the half-finished wall, and I have no idea how many hours I spent putting bricks back there, but I finally stood up, all bloody and dirty, looking at the wall, thinking that no one would ever find him there. I grabbed his keys, I unlocked the door, took his car, and drove until I saw city lights. I never once looked back. I went directly to the nearest police station. I told them I had killed my husband. I never told anyone this story or what he had done to me. Not until now. I felt like if I did, he would still somehow have a hold on me or my family. My family and friends came to visit me, shocked to see what had happened. They refused to believe me and kept fighting for me in the court during all this time. They shouldn't have. I need to pay for my mistake. My 20 years in this real prison have been a walk in the park compared to the 2 years that I had with that monster. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on. I have a peace in my heart that I will not see him where I will go next.
Alright, we've listened to all 13 tapes and completed the hunt. And it reads, "To whomever this may concern, by the time you're reading this, I will have crossed the line to the other side. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Really, I am. You know, during these 20 years, I never told anyone where we lived. I kept saying that I didn't remember, and considering all the trauma I had suffered, people were believing me. Unfortunately, I remember that place like yesterday. The months I spent staring at the walls, walking from corner to corner, because I couldn't go out. The small house that could look cozy and beautiful to others was a horrible, ugly prison to me. I didn't tell anyone because of fear. Fear of what exactly? I don't know. That fear is gone now, and the house, it's well hidden in a private plot, assumed to belong to the monster's dead family. The map is drawn on the back. See it if you dare." And there we have a map. Rochambeau Road in the Auchet Woods. We flip over pieces and find the map. Interesting. And now we're going to click on it and teleport there. Looks like this was where Ben took Anna Mae after she tried to kill him. It's prettier than what I expected, but I guess if I was trapped here for months without talking to anyone, I would go crazy too. I wonder if what she said about Ben was true. Maybe I should look around this place. And hello, Mr. Rat. Here, let me make this a little bit smaller. This must be where he smushed them. Smushed them good. There. Okay, you can stop that. You can stop that now. What's in here? And now I can't turn the damn thing off. Oh, squeaky, squeaky. Squeaky, squeak, squeak. I know what I have to do, I'm just avoiding it. Ooh. Oh, there's where the buzzing sound is. Ew. Ew. bunny and some froggies. Probably turn this off for now. Those are pretty. See, I already know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to click on the wall, and then the wall falls away, and there's a demon. But we're not going to do that. Not yet, anyway. Go look around a little. Do some exploration. Oh. There's some bloody footprints. Mr. Rat a pet? Is that what's going on? Is that why you're here, Mr. Rat? Just running around, being a rat. I think someone died here. Yeah, the wall wants me to touch it, but I'm not gonna. Is there anything down here? I'm guessing probably no. Yeah, this is a false door. That's okay. Okay, well it's pretty obvious I need to destroy this wall over here. As shown by the bloodstains right in front of it. So I'm going to have to find something to destroy it with. I've already explored the kitchen and the bathroom, so it's probably going to be up here. Some nice stuff up here. It's a pretty cool lamp. Or something? Nope. Just a little shit. This place squeaks like crazy. Well, stock bookcase. I like those pull-out things. That's kind of neat. We used to have a pretty big library ourselves, but so much stuff is online these days, it's kind of like, why bother? Love me tender, love me true. Herber, berber, ber, ber, ber. Those are pretty. So yeah, a really tiny place. Pappy, Zaddy, Daddy. Alright. Well, golly gee, look at that. A slur charmer. Can you be my sledgehammer? Can I call you by name? You pick up the huge sledgehammer tucked away behind the clothes. You give the sledgehammer a swing, feeling its mighty heft. I think we found the key to destroying that wall. Pretty sure of that. I'm kind of carrying it a little funny. Just smack the door open with it. It is hammer time. You're smashing with hammer now. Wow, it's a demon free. I got a necklace. I got achievement. Can I go in here? There's a Pookie Bear. Because if he's a demon, I don't know how he was trapped in here in the first place. Nothing compares to the day they placed you in my arms. Okay, so here we are back in Eridu after solving the mystery and then picking up a necklace prize. So apparently she wasn't crazy. There really was a demon involved. Here's a demon necklace. Looking all kinds of cool. Demon skull necklace. Pretty spiffy. Alright. So, by the time that you see this video, this hunt will actually be over. I decided that since most of this hunt is pretty much an audiobook, that it would not be a good idea to release this during the hunt's run, because it might discourage people from actually buying it, because all they'd have to do is watch the video to get most of the content. So you won't actually see this video until July 15th. But I definitely enjoyed this hunt. It was definitely something unique. And I look forward to more hunts like this where MadPea tries out something different. It's been a pretty cool experience, worth every linden. Well, this has been the ZOC, and I'll see you next time.